Hello, good people of YouTube. Sealord here, along with my PC's exhaust fans. And today in port, we have the brand new Tier 10 Premium Resource Cruiser, the Brisbane, for the Commonwealth Nation. Now, this is an Australian Minotaur, essentially, with HE and some slight tweaks. She's been a ship that I've been highly looking forward to, the Commonwealth finally getting a proper high-tier cruiser. Australian one at that. Know quite a few of you guys down from Australia. Very glad that you guys have finally gotten a proper Tier 10 cruiser as well. And, well, we're going to take a look at her today, talk about whether or not you might want to pick this ship up for coal when she comes up for coal in a couple of weeks. Right now, you can get her early through the current event going on. If you check out the army, you'll see that we've got, go over here to Brisbane and Brisbane and Matilda Kelly. And the Queen of the Seas Adventure, there's a sequence of missions that you can do that will, if you can grind them fast enough in the first week, net you the Brisbane. You can earn these tokens. I believe you can earn 550 tokens through the event. And then you would have to buy these first two set of tokens, one for 12,000 coal, one for 10 million credits, and then that'll be enough to get you the Brisbane with the coupon that is provided for the event, and that can net you either the Brisbane or Matilda Kelly. Other than that, you either have to whale the event if you want both of them early, or just wait for, again, the ship to come out for coal in a couple of weeks. Of course, I highly encourage you to wait for this thing to come out for coal. I was able to get this thanks to the channel's Patreons, whose name should be popping up on screen. I'm not a CC nor affiliated with or supported by Wargaming in any way, shape, or form. This review, most certainly, and all reviews of ships on this channel, made possible by the generous donations from the channel's Patreons. That, in addition to the revenue generated by the channel from you guys watching the streams and the videos, makes all reviews on this channel possible, especially this one right here. So again, don't do what I did. I'm able to do that because of the very generous Patreons and the ad revenue from the channel. Just wait for the thing to come out for coal in a couple of weeks. I promise you, no ship's that good to where you have to throw, an insane amount of money at the screen in order to get this ship early. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the Brisbane, shall we? We have quite a bit of XP on this ship because we played her quite a bit last night on stream. So we'll run through her here in port, go over her armor, her stats and features, and then hop over to a gameplay review section where I'll give the ship a score and some pros and cons. But before we get any further, if you guys wouldn't mind dropping a like, leaving a comment, subscribing. If you haven't subscribed already, apparently only 5% of you guys that watch this are subscribed, which is very weird. So if we could fix that, that would be great. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at this ship. For the economic bonuses, she does come with the standard Tier 10 bonus, 50% to credits, 100% to your various XPs. Now, this is a resource ship and not a full-on premium ship, so she doesn't have the additional baked-in economic boost, but this is pretty nice. Alright, for her Camo 2, and this is something, I gotta say something about Wargaming. What is up with the camos now? Look, this is the camo. This is the camo. I get that it's a ship from the 50s, and that, after World War II, radar became very prevalent, so dazzle camouflage, kind of went by the wayside. But come on. If the super ships all have at least pretty decent camos and things like that, why can't the Brisbane here, and so many of the new premiums coming out, just have a slab of gray, a lighter slab of gray on the top, and that's it? Come on. Give us some pretty camos. Alright. For her armor is a Minotaur. 16, 16, 16. It's all 16. Everything is 16 except for the Citadel, which is 101 millimeters, which, of course, anyone that's played this game for any extended period of time knows how easy the Minotaur is to blow up. No difference here with the Brisbane. Should be no surprise. For its survivability, base has 43,300 and 13% torpedo damage reduction. That's exactly the same as the Minotaur, if you're wondering. For her guns, she has 5x2 152mm guns, so she has 10 of these 152mm guns. Same number as the Minotaur as well. They have a 5-second reload time, which Minotaurs with the modules 2.8, so you've got essentially a 2-second longer reload time on the Brisbane. 180 time of 4.7 seconds, maximum exposure 142 meters, and a maximum range of 15.8 kilometers. Now she does get HE, which does a maximum damage of 2150. She has a base fire chance of 9%, and she can pin 30 millimeters of armor base. The shells come out the tubes at 768 meters a second. The AP does a maximum damage of 3200, and those also come out the tubes at 768 meters a second. Her torpedoes are a bit different. She gets one additional torpedo tube per launcher, so you get 4 more torpedoes overall. But they have a range out to 13.5 kilometers, so quite a bit further than the Minotaur. They do the same damage, 16,767. They are a little bit faster at 65 knots versus the Minotaurs, I believe, 62 knots. And they're detected from 1.3 kilometers away. However, they reload 131 seconds, but you can still single drop them. So a little bit more useful torpedoes here on the Brisbane. That's pretty nice. And she gets the airstrike. She doesn't get the depth charges that have to roll off the deck like the Minotaur. So that is awesome. She gets just the planes, which is of course infinitely better than the ones you have to roll off your deck, especially for a ship as squishy as the Brisbane/Minotaur. AA is 94, same as the Minotaur. You get 6 of these single Bofors, 8 of the quads, 76mm guns, and then the 10 152s also contribute to the AA. Maneuverability, maximum speed 33.5 knots without the speed flag, 750 meter turning circle radius, and a 10.4 second rudder shift time. Concealment is down to 12.1 kilometers base. For your consumables, you get Soviet radar, 12 kilometer, 20 second radar that recharges 120 seconds. 3 charges base. You get Hydro, that's out to 5 kilometers and is active for 100 seconds. And you get the same specialized repair teams as the Minotaur, 866 HP per second for 20 seconds, reloads in 80 seconds, 3 charges base. No smoke screens, so you're stuck playing Radar Minotaur. That's what this is. You're stuck playing a side-graded Radar Minotaur. I'm getting ahead of myself there, but you can infer what you will from that. I'm going to go ahead and throw the module and commander build I was running on the Brisbane for tonight, and I'll see you guys right back here in a second. Alright, so for the modules, I went with main armaments mod 1 to keep the main turrets in the fight. Having played Minotaur, I know how easily those can get knocked out. Then I slapped engine room protection on there to decrease the chance of our engine and rudders being knocked out, and also decrease their repair time all by 20%. Again, playing Minotaur, I know how easily these things get knocked out. Then aiming systems mod 1 just to rein in the dispersion. There wasn't really anything else that I felt had to be slotted here, so aiming systems mod 1 just to get the dispersion down a little bit more. Steering gears mod 1 to give us a boost to our rudder shift time, because no smokescreen means we gotta dance for our life. And concealment mod 1, so you might be thinking, well, why not take double rudder? That's true, but with concealment mod 1 and the commander skill, you have a 9.8 kilometer concealment, which is excellent. That allows you to pick and choose your engagements and allows you to disengage a lot easier than without it. If you're, a crackhead and you can cope with double rudder Brisbane, be my guest, go for it. And then main battery mod 3 to get our DPM up by getting our reload time down. Almost messed that up there. Saved myself there. Alright, on Matilda here, my pirate waifu. We've got Last Stand because despite the modules, those engines and rudders will get knocked out. We need those to be active in order to, live. So, got Last Stand. A safety circle so we know how many ships are aiming at us. Adrenaline Rush, so that when we do get vibe checked, we do get near Minotaur levels of DPM, because Adrenaline Rush gives you a boost to reload time as you take damage. Superintendent, so we get another charge of the heal, hydro, and radar. Survivability Expert for an additional 450 HP per tier, so 4,500 additional HP for the Brisbane here. Concealment Expert to get, again, our concealment down to 9.8 kilometers. And then IFHE to ensure that we are pinning 32 millimeters of armor to give us nice, consistent damage. And then MLG turrets up here to increase our turret traverse speed so that our guns can get on the fight as quick as possible as we are dancing in the Brisbane. And then, of course, let me slap the flags that I was running on the ship tonight. So, with all of this on, we now have 47,800 HP. The guns now reload in 4.4 seconds. They can pin 37 millimeters of armor and have a 4.5% chance of causing a fire on your target. Maneuverability. We now have a 8.3 second rudder shift time, 35.2 knot top speed with a speed flag. And concealment again is down to that nice 9.8 kilometers. And with the flag and the survivability expert, the heal now regens 1147 HP per second, which is very nice. And the radar, yep, still at 20 seconds. I don't slap anything on there that would increase the radar's action time. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and meet you in a gameplay section for my gameplay review of the Brisbane. Alright guys, so the Brisbane. The Brisbane is an interesting take on the Minotaur. She's essentially a side grade to the Minotaur for those of you that like to play Radar Minotaur. And I would imagine if you're good at playing Radar Minotaur, you're good at playing Minotaur, you can make the ship work quite well, depending upon how much you rely upon your smokescreen for survival in your Minotaur. So, the best way I can describe Brisbane as it's the most, like, alright ship I've ever played. Like, it's alright. It's okay. It does well. What I found myself in terms of the situations I was in last night with the Brisbane is that I wasn't really doing that much damage with the Brisbane, but I was always coming in top of the leaderboard, or near top, at least within the top 5, top 3 most of the matches that I had. Why? Because I was, well, dealing with DDs. The Minotaur, like the Brisbane, the Brisbane, like the Minotaur, is very good for dealing with DDs. And now she has HE. That does even better things, you know. You break more modules with HE, start fires. So that's what I was going for with the Brisbane, and she was doing well with that. When I could get into a situation when I could finally farm, of course, having HE over AP is, of course, a nice option for farming. It makes farming battleships a lot easier. You don't have to, slowly chip away at their superstructure for 10 minutes in order to get your damage out of those battleships. You can, set fires. I found that IFHE worked fine with the Brisbane. I liked having the ability to pin 32 millimeters up to 37 millimeters of armor. Of course, made those cases when I could farm a lot better. So, yeah, it's alright. There are some things that are a little wonky about it, a little awkward about it, that I think could be better, I think should have been better in order to help this ship perform how she, well, not how she should perform, but how she could have performed if they made a change here or there. So, how are you going to be playing the Brisbane? Well, the Brisbane, if you do decide to pick her up for coal, because again, I highly recommend you just wait a couple of weeks, get the ship for coal completely for free. This is a ship that's going to be free, and I will be reviewing it as a ship that you will be acquiring for free with that in mind, so just be aware of that going forward. So, how do you play it? Well, you can play it one of two ways. You can play it like a traditional light cruiser, find an island, hug it. You do have, of course, catapults, so you can easily chunk your HE shells over most islands that you can hug, even from sitting right on top of them. That is very, very, very nice. However, what I found playing during the night is that I wasn't able to really make use of the situation too much because in most cases when I would find a nice island that would have a good coverage of where the enemy is pushing from, where the enemy is sitting at, the team would refuse to spot. So I sat there for a good bit doing nothing. And that brings us to our second type of playstyle, which is out in the open, which most of you Minotaur players know is not a very good idea for your Minotaur. And unlike the Minotaur, the Brisbane doesn't have a smoke screen, so when you go out in the open, you are all alone. Now you can go out in the open with the rest of your team, and that way the enemy team has more things to shoot at rather than just you. That does help, but I mean, hey, most enemy battleship players are trained to recognize the general outline of a British cruiser and aim their guns right at them, because they know how easy it is to Citadel these things. You just blap them off the face of the map, and that will happen. With the first rudder module, that does help things quite a bit by getting the rudder shift time down. And again, if you would take the second rudder module, that would get the rudder shift time downs even more and give you an even more maneuverable Brisbane. Now, this is where I think a change should have been made with her design. She should have had some type of baked-in improved rudder shift time or improved maneuverability over the Minotaur. She still accelerates fast like the Minotaur does, but like, come on, the thing feels like a slug, again, without taking the double rudder mods, for a ship that doesn't have any smoke. Now, granted, she does have the specialized repair team, so when you do get vibe checked, you can recover quite a bit of that HP, but like I'm sure most of you know, it's still a Minotaur. The things get clapped off the map when they slip up. It's not hard to clap one of these things from full health, and again, it's coated in 16 millimeters of armor, so your shells are going to go right through it. However, if you do get lucky, and if you do play it in the open water and the shells just don't connect, the enemy shells just don't connect, or if you're that good at dodging and throttle juking, or if you have an island to hide behind and do cruiser things, the thing does cruiser things quite well. I mean, again, like, it's got 10 152mm guns that can pin 32mm of armor with IFHE, with a 4.8 second reload time. It puts in work. There's no doubt about that. It can HE spam, and it can HE spam well. Even with the IFHE, it'll be starting a few fires, getting the enemy ships nice and roasty toasty. You've got the frickin' 13.5 kilometer torps that are very useful. It's so great to be able to shut down a flank or shut down a pathway with these torps. You have hydro and radar, a lot of utility. You have 12 kilometer radar, 20 seconds, and yeah, you can build into that to get that out a little bit longer, and that is quite a high degree of utility. And you have pretty decent AA, and you have the ASW planes. There's honestly not a lot to complain about here that just isn't in the balancing factor of the ship, except for the maneuverability. I mean, yeah, it's got all that. It's got a ton of utility at the cost of its survivability. Not much more else to say about the ship. I was getting decent results in it. Great for murdering deities. Great for farming down battleships in the right position and time. I unfortunately wasn't able to do that too much during my recording sessions because the matches were over very quickly, and I had a whole lot of blowouts. Those of you that were there on stream last night can attest to that. But I mean, overall, my impression of the Brisbane is that it's all right. It's good. Is it great? No. Is it a coal ship I'm going to urge you to rush out and get the second it comes out and, abandon all your other coal ship grinds? No, I'm not. This is like a ship I would recommend you pick up after you pick up, the Greats, the Pomerans, the Napolis, the so forth and so on. The coal ships that we always recommend to you guys. After you pick those guys up, then yeah, go back and pick up the Brisbane. If you played Minotaur and you like playing, Radar Minotaur, Me Minotaur with double rudder, this will probably tickle your fancy. Other than that, it's nothing you need to rush out and get at this moment, but it's alright. And reflecting the it's alright sentiment, I would give it a 7 out of 10. It's a free ship. What's there to complain about? It's a free ship, it's a coal ship. It's not stuck behind any stupid paywall or anything. It's just in an early access event right now that is perfectly fine, in my opinion at least. So yeah, it's a nice free ship once you get your other better free ships for coal. Overall, the pros being, of course, 1052mm guns with 4.8 seconds with a module on it. The range is pretty decent too if you have the concealment build like I do. That's 6 kilometers of range for you to play with. I really wouldn't want to push the guns out any further past that anyway because of the flight time. Like the shell's got to catch a connect and fly. It takes them so long to get to their max range destination. But of course, the 13.5 kilometer torps too. Of course, having HE on the guns is a big pickup over the Minotaur, and just the degree of utility that the ship has with the Soviet radar, the hydro, the ASW aircraft. Just a bunch of utility strapped onto one ship. And of course the specialized repair teams to help you when you do get vibe checked for half of your health. Cons of course being low survivability, very low, very, very, very low armor ratings on this ship here. And of course that for a ship that doesn't have smoke, it really should be more maneuverable in my opinion. If they had just given it a baked in improved rudder, I think this would be a fantastic ship and easily like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. But as it is right now, it's a solid 7 in my opinion. A free ship that's alright. So guys, let me know what you guys think about the Brisbane in the comments down below if you're planning on picking her up. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and hope to catch you guys in the next one.